we've come a long way in the last couple of years, obviously, and now we have an agreement that needs to be implemented. And as in many agreements, the hard part is the implementation part. So the next couple of years are going to be about taking commitments and pledges that countries have made and turning them into reality. So this is where the hard work begins. The biggest part of each of the commitments, of course, are the NDCs, or the nationally determined contributions that each country has made. And so in the weeks, months, and years ahead, it's going to be really important for us as an international community to keep pressure on countries to make good on those contributions. And that's going to be the most important thing for the international community, the NGO community, the foundation community, to really keep pressure on countries to make their commitments stand. So private capital is important to addressing climate change for a number of reasons. Perhaps the most important and the most self-evident is that there simply isn't enough public capital to solve climate change. So by definition, we need private capital. But that's not a bad thing. We're at a point in the market transition to a lower carbon economy where private capital is, in fact, able to and profitably taking advantage of this transition. We see that first in energy markets, where renewable energy deployment around the world now is bigger than fossil fuel investments. That's a huge, huge tipping point in terms of our transition to a low carbon economy. We're seeing that increasingly in investments in climate-related sectors like agriculture, water, forestry, where the private investment is beginning to move in. So there is not enough public money to solve climate change, and private markets are beginning to move. But, and importantly, they're not moving nearly fast enough. And so my interest in this fellowship and with Mercator is to focus on vehicles and structures that can help move private capital more quickly to address these climate problems. So the first thing, as we discussed, is that private capital is moving today, but it's not moving fast enough. Why isn't it moving fast enough? For one reason, many countries, particularly in emerging markets, that are seeking to receive investment flows into climate-related projects don't have the right enabling environment. Their regulatory regimes are unpredictable, sometimes they're changing, and so we have to work with countries to make sure that their regulatory regimes are sound, predictable, and acceptable to investors. On the other side, investors need to have vehicles and structures through which they can invest their money. And in emerging markets, oftentimes those vehicles are hard to find. One of my interests is in helping to design and implement vehicles that make it easier for investors to invest into climate infrastructure in emerging markets.